Welcome to another wonderful episode of Daybreak. I'm Sam Hindman.
And I'm Nick Konopka. On today's episode, we'll tell you how you can register to vote on campus before it's too late.
And Point Park is offering another series of mindfulness workshops to help you de-stress. Find out how to attend coming up. We'll
tell you all about Culinart's tasty fall treats that were served in Village Park to help promote local businesses.
And of course, we'll catch you up on everything you need to know in national, sports, entertainment, and tech news.
Wake up and smell the coffee, Pittsburgh. Daybreak starts right now.
Well, Nick, temperatures for this week are dropping down a little bit further than what we've been used to so far.
I know, it's been warm the past couple days. The weather just seems like it can't make up its mind.
It seems like we're finally going to have to deal with that winter weather.
Finally.
Coming up this week, we have a high of 53 and a low of 33 this Friday.
And on Saturday, we're going to have a high of 59 with a low of 42 and sunny weather outside.
And finally, we're ending it off with a high of 65 and a low of 47 this Sunday.
At least it's going to say sunny this weekend, and I think that's a good sign for all of us.
For now, but let's not knock on wood.
Yeah.
And here's your campus news, starting with today's campus COVID-19 dashboard.
You may have noticed several tables set up around campus with iPads and Star-Spangled flyers. These pop-ups are part of the Office of Student Life's initiative to help students register to vote before the November 3rd election. The tables will be set up in Village Park and Lawrence Hall until this Monday, October 19th. To register, all you have to do is go to one of the tables with your driver's license and the last 4 digits of your social security number, and one of the volunteers will assist you throughout the process. If you are already registered, the pop-up also allows students to request an absentee ballot so you can make your voice heard without leaving your room.
As college students, we know all too well that stress is a serious problem. Whether it be improving sleep, learning to meditate, or informing yourself to be more compassionate, they are all beneficial to us here at Point Park. That's why the 4-week mindfulness class being offered to us is such a helpful opportunity. This course will teach you the necessary skill of mindfulness, as well as how to implement it into your everyday life. These classes begin October 23rd and sign-ups close the 19th. For more information, please be sure to check your Point Park emails.
On Tuesday, Point Park's Culinart Dining Services sponsored a Fall Fest event in Village Park. The affair featured several tables where students could purchase a cornucopia of autumn treats from Culinart, as well as local businesses like the Pittsburgh Popcorn Company. Even if funds were low, the first 100 students at the event were treated to a complimentary DIY s'mores bar. If you missed out on this tasty event, be sure to follow @CulinartPPU on Instagram for the latest happenings in the Point Park dining scene.
So Nick, did you attend the Fall Festival?
I did, and I didn't have the time between classes.
Oh man, I actually did end up going down there, and let me tell you, the s'mores were very good.
Oh, I should have went. I guess I'll have to follow the Instagram.
All right, switching over to Point Park sports, the Pioneers have been busy on the field and on the screen.
To break down this week's matchups, let's turn it over to Colton DeBias in studio. Colton?
Thanks, Sam and Nick. The women's soccer team is getting back on track after a devastating loss to Midway last Thursday. They defeated Ohio Christian Monday afternoon 3-2. The Pioneers were down 1-0 in the first half, then scored 2 goals to take the lead, but Taylor Goldstrom, who has scored a goal in the past 4 games, and Shaima Aguzma broke the ice to take the lead. Athena Beck went on to make it 3-1 later in the half. However, OCU did cut the lead to 1 with under 10 minutes left, but the Pioneers held their ground, getting the win, and are now tied for 3rd place in the RSC. The women and men will travel to Indiana this weekend, as the women will take on IU East and IU Kokomo, while the men will only play IU East. Switching over to the console, the esports team, had a tough night Tuesday, losing to Lebanon Valley and Messiah College 3-1. This is a tough stretch for the team, as they are now on a 5-game losing streak and sit in 8th place in Group K of the Skill Shot Collegiate NACE Rocket League Fall Cup. The Pioneers will be back in action on Tuesday with matches against Juneta College, and Eastern University.
Thanks, Colton. Coming up after the break, Phipps Conservatory is inviting you to come enjoy the beauty that fall has to offer.
City and national news is here next. Don't go anywhere.
Alright, so if that's all the positions for this show, we can go ahead in the studio and get set up.
Wait, where's Nick and Taylor?
I guess they took Start Your Mornings with Us a little too seriously.
Start your mornings with us! Only on Daybreak!
Welcome back to Daybreak. Pittsburgh is making the city streets a little bit cleaner and a little bit smarter.
We've got that coming up. Here's your city news.
The presidential election is right around the corner, and now is a better time than ever to get involved in the democratic process. Pittsburgh is searching for poll workers, and you just might be fit for the job. Following the pandemic, more and more older poll workers are retiring, freeing the opportunity for us to step up and step in. It's a great way to get involved in the community, gain resume-worthy work experience, and even get paid. If you're interested or know someone who might be, sign up at powerthepolls.org.
This week, the city of Pittsburgh announced that the Department of Public Works will be deploying more than 1,000 new smart garbage cans around the city. These receptacles are outfitted with weight and visual sensors that let trash collectors know when an individual can needs emptied. The first batch of smart cans were installed last June and since have allowed the city to streamline the collection process. Mayor Bill Peduto praises the cans for, quote, providing better services and saving taxpayer money at the same time.
In their usual fall tradition, Phipps Conservatory and Botanical Gardens is happy to present its 126th annual Fall Flower Show, entitled The Poetry of Nature. Phipps is excited to show off its extravagant selection of fall flowers, including beautiful chrysanthemums that have been in the making all year. Gorgeous jewel-toned, deep red and orange, and brilliant golden mums are all appearing on display. As a reminder, students do receive discounted admission. This is a lovely Pittsburgh-exclusive opportunity and only lasts 3 weeks, so take some time to relax and stop and smell the flowers, Point Park.
I've never been down to Phipps Conservatory, but I might have to stop by this year.
Really? It's very beautiful there. They have such a lovely selection of flowers, and even if you go during the winter time, they always have something to see.
Yeah, it might be a good sight to see this summer. Or this fall, rather, sorry. Switching from a city scale to a national scale, one bank fired more than 100 employees for exploiting COVID relief funds.
Colton DeBias is back in the studio with everything you need to know in national news. Colton?
Thanks again, Sam and Nick. After a summer full of wildfires among the West Coast, notably the El Dorado caused by a baby reveal party, Port Collins, Colorado is in the midst of the biggest wildfire in the state's history. According to Governor Jared Polis, the first located just to the right of Fort Collins, it's called the Cameron Peak Fire. Since it began, it has burned more than 161,000 acres and is 56% contained, according to officials. Evacuation procedures began Wednesday night, and in a statement to Facebook, the Laramie County Sheriff's Office announced there was a mandatory evacuation order for Laurie State Park. Officials say the fire is expected to be contained by November 8th. According to Bloomberg News, Wells Fargo fired more than 100 employees due to misrepresenting the company to exploit coronavirus relief funds for small businesses. This may also have resulted in defrauding the United States Small Business Administration. CNN received a memo to Wells Fargo staff that was sent on Wednesday night by Human Resources head David Galafarisi. The memo said the employers, and I quote, defrauded the U.S. Small Business Administration, or also known as SBA, by making false representations in applying for coronavirus relief funds for themselves through the Economic Inquiry Disaster Loan Program, which is administered directly through the SBA, end quote. An internal investigation is ongoing. That's it for national news. Let's send it back to Sam and Nick.
After the break, Carlo Andreassi in Countdown with Carlo is breaking down this week in the world of politics.
And our reporters are in studio for your entertainment and tech news, including a UView debut. We'll be right back.
Alright, so that's all the positions for this show. We can go ahead in the studio and get set up.
Wait, where's Nick and Taylor?
I guess they took Start Your Mornings with Us a little too seriously.
Start your mornings with us! Only on Daybreak!
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Jasmine Schulte with this week's wrap-up in entertainment. Kicking it off with some more Bachelor Nation news. Season 16 of The Bachelorette premiered on Tuesday. This season's Bachelorette is Claire Crawley, but for the first time ever, she will not finish the season as The Bachelorette. Spoilers revealed that a new Bachelorette will come in and take her place, and this replacement is rumored to be Tayshia Adams. The word on the street is that Claire quit the show because she fell completely in love with one of the contestants, Dale Moss, after only a few weeks of filming. Actress Kristen Bell speaks out on her husband Dax Shepard's relapse with prescription medication after 16 years of sobriety. Shepard first revealed in September that he'd started significantly to up his dosage again, which led him to start lying. Belle recently shared that her husband is doing really great and is just happy that he came to her when he realized he needed help. She says she will continue to stand by her husband because he's very worth it. Former 2.5 Men co-star Concetta Farrell passed away on Monday at age 77. She was known for many roles throughout her career of 5 decades, but her performance as Berta in 2.5 Men received 2 Emmy Award nominations for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. Her co-star Charlie Sheen made a tweet in her honor. It said, "Berta, your housekeeping was a tad suspect. Your people-keeping was perfect. Farrell will be remembered as a beloved longtime character." That's all I've got for entertainment. Let's throw it back in with Adam Snook with your timely tech news and his Daybreak and UView debut. Adam?
Thanks, Jasmine. As for most of us, staying away from COVID-19 is a priority. However, an organization by the name of One Day Sooner is purposely infecting healthy people with the virus. Why? Well, according to the organization's website, their goal is to study the virus as well as to experiment with a possible vaccine that could help the outbreak. This might sound a little bit bizarre to you, but it has been done to prevent life-threatening diseases in the past, including typhoid, malaria, and smallpox. This idea of self-infecting has caught on with the public ever since 2 young people in the UK participated. Although the risks are low, it doesn't mean there aren't any. Less than 1% of Americans who died due to the coronavirus are below the age of 34. However, the long-term effects of the virus have not been studied enough to predict the participation consequences. Scientists are working around the clock to provide a vaccine that can kill the virus, but one group called off test trials due to an unexplained illness caused by the vaccine in the 3rd phase of testing. The company that ran the test trials cannot confirm the cause of the illness, but it is common in the stage of testing new vaccines. The future isn't clear, but there may be a chance that the organization, one day sooner, could crack the code of this horrific pandemic. That's it for your timely tech news. Let's catch it up with Carlos Andreas.
Thanks, Adam. Welcome to Countdown with Carlo. I'm Carlo Andreassi. This past week has been somewhat slow in the world of politics as we're all gearing up for the election on November 3rd. However, there's been a lot of smaller things that have unraveled that could pose to change the game not only for this election, but for the political landscape for years to come. For a quick update on the polls, Joe Biden now leads nationally in double digits, reaching a 10.5 lead on October 3rd. Some numbers have shifted in individual states, however, with Biden's lead dwindling in Ohio and Georgia and Trump's lead gaining in Texas. Though all 3 of these states are extremely close and still remain in the margin of error. Biden is still maintaining his lead in every swing state, though it seems he's on a downward trend in Ohio, a state that could very well swing this election. But anyway, what has been going on in the political sphere? Well, for one, a recent $1.8 trillion stimulus bill that President Trump is in support of is likely to be shot down by Congress. This bill would provide $400 a week to over 20 million unemployed Americans, $4,400 to families suffering pay cuts, $300 billion to local governments that are currently in economic trouble, and would let airline, restaurant, and hotel workers keep their job. This deal was on the table, and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi shot it down, saying, quote, "The heart of the matter is that Trump's administration's refusal to adopt national coronavirus testing and tracing plans is a non-starter," end quote. So essentially, she's saying that she won't accept the deal set forth by the GOP because it doesn't include expansion of testing and tracing for the coronavirus. Pelosi and other Democrats not backing this bill are under scrutiny for supposedly rejecting this bill for political gain. GOP members like Steve Mnuchin and more progressive Democrats like Ro Khanna are claiming that Pelosi sees the stimulus bill as it could help Trump's chances at re-election, and therefore she's withholding providing working Americans with financial help until after the election. Similar criticisms of Trump are also coming from the left, however, wherein they say that Trump is now only interested in getting in a stimulus bill now that he's struggling in the polls. In other news, the hearing for Amy Coney Barrett's confirmation for the Supreme Court started on October 12th. Since, many discussions have been brought up on the Senate floor about both Roe v. Wade and the Affordable Care Act being at stake. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar in particular gave a speech highlighting the importance of having a Supreme Court that won't be responsible for taking health care insurance away from millions of people. One notable thing that Amy Coney Barrett said was, quote, "The policy decisions and value judgments of government must be made by the political branches elected by and accountable to the people. The public should not expect courts to do so, and courts should not try," end quote. She's pledging to leave policymaking to the legislative branch and to be a nonpartisan judge. This doesn't stop the conflict, however, that conservatives are determined and excited to have her on the court so that there's a 6-to-9 ratio of conservative to liberal judges, and liberals and progressives feel the opposite way. Can we, in 2020, truly put politics and partisanship aside in the Supreme Court? Hard to say, quite honestly. Let's not forget that amidst this election, Donald Trump is still the president and therefore making foreign policy decisions daily. The Trump administration recently placed more sanctions on Iran. Earlier in Trump's presidency, the administration placed sanctions on medicine in Iran, which was labeled as a war crime from the International Criminal Court, which the Trump administration then withdrew from. These new sanctions will effectively blacklist the Iranian financial industry. According to Bloomberg, These sanctions will, quote, designate the Iranian financial sector under Executive Order 13902, which President Donald Trump signed in January to clamp down on mining, construction, and other industries, end quote. Economists are saying that this is bound to have a devastating effect on the Iranian economy. So the question is, what is the motivation behind the Trump administration to place these sanctions on Iran just weeks before the election? It will be interesting to see how our foreign relations develop following the outcome of this upcoming presidential election. And speaking of the election, you have until October 19th here in Pennsylvania to register to vote. Make sure to participate in the democratic process by making your voice heard.
So Carlo, you spoke about the polls earlier, and back in 2016, Hillary Clinton had a similar, maybe a couple points off lead to where Biden is right now, and obviously she went on to lose the election. Do you think it's possible in this election cycle for Biden's lead to drop as Hillary Clinton's did?
Well, look, it's definitely possible. I mean, 538 has Biden at a 73% chance of winning, I'm pretty sure. So obviously there's still a chance that Trump wins, but I'm going to say it's a lot less than it was in 2016, especially since the polls now are accounting for a secret Trump vote that they might have missed in 2016. So yeah, I'm definitely saying it's less likely now that Trump gains a lead, but hey, you never know.
All right, and my question for you, Carlo, is Amy Coney Barrett's hearings. Do you believe, in your opinion, that she could be a nonpartisan judge if appointed?
Well, look, I don't think that a nonpartisan judge exists. I mean, listen, the entire goal of the Supreme Court is to interpret the Constitution. The Constitution is a living, breathing document. I don't think that there can be someone who's non-biased. Otherwise, what would be the point of SCOTUS, you know?
And as to the criticisms for Nancy Pelosi's holding out on the stimulus bill, do you think if she might be holding out for after the election, something will come after November 3rd?
Look, in my opinion, Nancy Pelosi is very much so partisan. She very much so fights for her party. So I think, yeah, it's definitely, I think likely, honestly, that the Democrats are going to hold until after the election to pass any sort of stimulus bill.
All right, thanks, Carlo. We'll be right back with this week's Ray of Sunshine.
Alright, so that's all the positions for this show. We can go ahead in the studio and get set up.
Wait, where's Nick and Taylor?
I guess they took Start Your Mornings with Us a little too seriously.
Start your morning with us! Only on Daybreak!
Welcome back to Daybreak. Before we say goodbye, we'd like to share with you this week's Ray of Sunshine.
In case you're first time joining us or you need a refresher, Ray of Sunshine is our way of starting your day with a simple and inspirational quote.
This week's quote comes from motivational speaker Brian Tracy.
The quote reads, "Optimism is the one quality more associated with success and happiness than any other."
I think that's a great point. I think you really need to be optimistic in life to kind of, you know, get past your failures and move forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, optimism is something that personally I struggle with a little bit, as Nick is familiar with. No, but I really think it is important to try and see the bright side of things, even though admittedly, you know, it can be tough sometimes.
And I'd add, you know, if you're negative about things, if you feel like, oh, you know, this hour of my day, it didn't go well, you have so many hours left in your day to do something about it. So I say don't just sit around and, you know, be all negative Nancy, you know.
Yeah.
Think about it in a positive light.
Yeah, life's a gradient. Nothing's, you know, it's not a bad day. It was a bad moment.
And, you know, going off on what Carlos said, you know, you do have so many hours in a day, but you never know which day will be your last. So you always have to take the days on with a smile and treat them as great as you can.
Exactly.
No matter how hard it may be. I will say, though, you got to take some time for yourself. You know, if you need to rejuvenate, if you need to recharge a little, it's okay. But just stay positive. That's all.
Always.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else to add, Nick?
I think it's always great to stay positive for myself, especially you say, you know, take some time for yourself, but don't do it in a way that'll stress yourself out, you know? If you have some homework to do, maybe get it done first, so then you can spend the rest of your time for some self-care and optimism.
Yeah, right. And I feel like I'm a social person, you know? I like people, I like interacting with people, but I will say, like, I need some time to, you know, take off and recharge, and I need some time for myself, you know, and that's okay. That's always a good thing.
It's always nice to have those moments. And that's it for Daybreak. Thank you for watching.
You can catch clips from all our previous Daybreak episodes on our Facebook at Daybreak on UView.
And make sure to check out our full episode and all of our shows from UView on our website, uview.pointpark.edu. Tune in next week for the news you need. I'm Carlo Andreassi.
I'm Sam Hindman.
And I'm Nick Konopka, hoping your news is good news. Have a great day, everyone.